Okay. Now the title. Whenever I say title, a title is related to the property ownership doc, right? A document that going to reflect, that going to show as the ownership in a real estate ownership document, right, of any property, right? If I'm claiming my ownership on any real estate, on any property, what document that I can produce to justify, you know, my claim, that is the title document. If I the title for any property, I can claim my ownership on that. See the title document in my name, right? The number second, what we are going to discuss in our process, especially for the mortgage related, especially for the post closing, closing, or related to the underwriting. What we are going to discuss, we are going to discuss more about the title policy. Now, what is the title policy? Title policy is whenever we are doing a real estate transaction, whether it is a purchase or refinance, whatever it is, right? What we are doing, whenever we are going to do any of the transaction, we need to make certain changes in the ownership. How? Let's see. This is the property. Let me make you, comfortable. So it's the property. Okay. So this property is currently vested in the name of, right, current owner, right? Now it is being transferred to someone else. So new title means title transfer need to be, ownership need to be transferred to someone else. Whatever the new title document need to be made, that title document need to be insured. Why to insure? So that anything happens, if anything happens to this ownership, to the current property, means if someone comes and claims to the ownership, and due to some errors, due to any inaccurate information, if the lender or buyer or the new buyer or the new owner are not able to sustain or not able to hold this property, then someone who will be taking care of all those expenses are going to pay them whatever they spent on this property. That is the insurance company, and that is why they are going to take the title. So there are two type of title policies. Two type of title policies. What? Number one, lender policy. Lender policy is called, like, lender invested 80%, 10%, 50%, 40%, whatever they invested, they always will ask borrower to purchase this lender policy. Borrower is going to pay for this lender policy. Whoever the insurance company going to insure the title with the beneficiary as a lender. So that is where in the policy where lender is written as a beneficiary, that is the lender policy. And there is buyer policy as well. Buyer policy or owner policy, not buyer, but owner policy, right? So what is owner policy? Whoever the owner, if someone buying the property, they will definitely say to the seller, first you need to take, the new title need to be insured. The new title need to be insured, and you need to make the new owner need to be made as a beneficiary. So whenever loan is, it's a purchase case, always, most of the time, 99% seller will be paying for the owner policy. For the lender policy, it is only the buyer who will be always taking the lender policy or will be paying the premium for the lender policy. Buyer policy, mostly whoever buying, whoever selling, seller is going to pay for. But if it's a refinance, that depends on the owner will, whether they want to get insured or not, like a beneficiary want, whether they want to add their name as a beneficiary for their portion for or not. But lender will always ask for the lender policy. That means they always wanted to become a beneficiary, right? So in 20-80%, they buyer, whenever lender policy is taken, lender is going to be beneficiary on any title report until the loan is paid in full. Once the loan is paid in full and there is no claim of the lender name will be, or that policy will be void. It is a one-time premium that needs to be paid. Number two, owner. If someone takes or someone buy an owner policy, right? That owner is always going to be on that property, even if owner doesn't survive, and whoever is hired will be like his son, daughter, or whoever taking nominees, whoever will be taking care of that property after borrower. They will also be get remain insured until the property they hold the property title. So it is for one for all the time until they sell the property to someone else or title will be transferred to someone else. Okay, so that is how the this policy one time payment, but till the time they have the interest in the property, that property will remain insured. And whatever happens to the title, because of title, if they have some some kind of threat challenge with the ownership, title insurance or that insurance company is going to bear all the expenses or going to pay for the loss of lender or borrower. Is that clear to everyone? What is the relevance? What is the importance of this policy, title policy? And what is the title policy at all? But is that clear? I told you borrower is going to pay the premium for lender policy, and if they want to get insured, they can buy or make them beneficiary, or they can buy a title policy for ownership as well. Or if it's selling, then obviously seller will be paying for the owner policy of the buyer, to the buyer policy. Okay, I told you in the last session there were Schedule B that is known in the policy, that is Schedule B. What is Schedule B? There are two parts. One is requirement, right? Requirement, and the one is exception. Don't get confused in those. Anything that is exception, that title policy is not going to give a coverage for that. Those everything that comes under the exception. Now requirements, anything that company want you to fulfill the requirements before getting your final policy. Those are the requirements. Now, what I told you at the beginning of this session, what I told you that of the transfer, right? One person is selling the property, one is buying the property, right? Selling and buying, there is a duration. Now, once property is purchased by the buyer, new title report created, right? And now it will be finalized, and a final title policy will be released, will be given. So once property is bought, property is purchased, then each borrower could consider this property, this title report, final title report as insured. But what about this era, this time between the purchase? Because this property is being sold to buying, it might take 3 months. What happens if something happens in this time? Purchase and selling, it is being, someone is going to sell the property, she took out all the documents out, and now it is being transferred to the seller, to transfer to the buyer or borrower. Now once the property will be purchased, borrower knows that he took the insurance, this is the effective date, and borrower will be now covered. But what about the seller who is selling the property. What happens if the document is found? Anyone can do any data purging to his document. What happens if something happens in that between when borrower took out, seller took out the title document and now they are working or going to scrutinize that new policy. If something happens in between, who is going to take care of that? Right? Loan is closed now, but it is not yet funded, or even it is funded, but seller didn't get the money as of now. There is still some time to get funded. Then, if something happens, who is going to take care of that title? Who will be spending or who will be doing all those expenses? Right? So that is why this document, whenever the new document is being prepared, any title company, they will be giving a commitment, title commitment. That is why it is called title commitment or title binder. It is called commitment or binder. This document, which is I am telling you, it's a kind of draft that is being prepared and will be converted into the final version or into the final document, final policy. But this draft also has a commitment that anything happens, any inaccuracy, any mistake, if happens in this document between this transaction, that insurance company has committed that no worries, we will take care of all those expenses as well. That is why we always look at the effective date of the, first of all, what we see? We see effective date. Remember, effective date. Why we see effective date of this document, of this binder, not the final. Final title policy will come once the loan will be closed and will be funded, right? But effective date of this preliminary title report or commitment or binder, we always see effective date, from which date it is effective. So that we always see that it should not be more than 90 days old from the, it should not be 90 days old from the initial 1003. Is that what we see? Initial 1003. Remember, 90 days should not be 90 days old from the initial 1003. Why we do see that? We see that because that is how till the closing this document is going to cover the title, to give an assurance, to give an insurance to the title policy. Whatever the title, changes are being made. If something happens in between that, any mistake happens, any data fuzzy happens, title insurance company is giving a commitment in lieu of this document that nobody, the document is also covered. If something happens to this document before this effective date, then insurance company is not going to take care of those expenses. That is why effective date is very crucial. Now we know what is the title policy, what is title prelim, and what are other name of title prelim, and what is the difference between the title prelim or final title. That is final title. So final title will be taking place once this document will be ready, right? Will be ready to be recorded. Once it will be recorded into the county recording or title company, then only title company will be releasing a final title policy. But till then, this title prelim, which is also known as commitment, so commitment or title binder, also this is also going to cover from the effective date, going to effective date, with the effective date, whatever the effective date, it will get into the effect until the closing or till the time it is being expired, or before, or it is till the time it is valid, or till the time of closing. It will also be covering the title or will be ensuring the title transaction. What most of the title, whoever releasing these commitment or binder or title preliminary report, they are always going to, not all the companies, but most of them are going to give us all this information in different schedule. So there could be schedule A, right? Then schedule B, schedule C. Now schedule A. What schedule A is going to hold for us? Schedule A, first of all, is going to say effective date or date only, right? That should not be greater than 90 days old. The second thing, policy amount. Now we know this is what policy for to take a title policy amount. What is the policy amount? Should not be less than, right? Should not be less than loan amount. Should not be less than loan amount, right? Because it's a lender always wanted to be covered. Number 3, proposed insured. Now this binder or this commitment or this document is being prepared to create a to give a new policy amount, or sorry, to create a new policy document, new insurance document. So in that new document, who will be the proposed insured beneficiary? So proposed insured, I said it's a lender policy, so it is going to be the lender name. Who the lender name? The next who is currently giving the loan. Maybe previously they took loan from Fannie Mae, this time they are going to take a loan from Freddie Mac. So new lender name Freddie Mac will be written here. Now don't tell me that lender is Fannie and Freddie is not a lender. I am just giving you example. They are investor, I know, right? You can take an example. Maybe they are taking loan from Fannie Mac and previously they took loan from the Wells Fargo, right? So they are now switching to the Wells Fargo. So now Wells Fargo name as a lender name will be written here, okay? And if it will be a owner policy as well, so owner name as well, whoever the owner. If it's a refinance, obviously owner name will remain same. If it's a purchase case, so new buyer name will be written here. So owner names, but only if it will be also if it will also be a owner policy as well. Now it's a lender and owner policy. Then most of the time, this amount that should not be less than or loan amount, this amount should not be less than a property. Make sense? Lender, in our previous example, lender had invested 80% or 80,000. So if it's only the lender proposed insured, then we need to see the 80,000 rule. But now if owner is also being beneficiary in the amount, then the rest of the 20,000 also need to be added for the owner, right? So it should be property amount, that is 100,000. Make sense? Right? It is going to be slightly confusing, but once or twice we will go through, definitely it is going to be clear to you. Proposed insured. After that, what is the next term that schedule A is going to contain in this schedule? That is the vesting. Now what is vesting? Vesting is actually the ownership. Who is the current owner? So this vesting column is always going to show the name of current owner, not the proposed. They didn't write proposed vesting. No, vesting, current vesting. So current, if it's a purchase case, so current owner, whoever the current owner. If it's a purchase case, then seller name will be written here. If it's a refinance, the current owner means the borrower name is also going to appear only here. Okay, but in the refinance. Are we clear till this? This is the minimum information that going to appear in the first part or in the schedule A. Okay, some of I saw some of the title binders or title preliminary title report, they do not show a schedule A. They simply start with the commitment. First, they will be writing a commitment that okay, we are committed to pay all, take all these things. It could be one or two pages, then they will stamp it, they will sign it, and then straight away they will start. Now the commitment start from this date, and then there will be date written, and then the policy amount and everything, right? But sometimes you will see they will properly written the commitment binder declaration, and then next page they are going to start with the preliminary title report, title company name, and then schedule A will be properly written, and all this information will come in this sequence. Sequence could be up and down, that is fine, but this is mostly how they are going to reflect, going to show their information in the binder. Are we good till this?